Okay. So, what's hilarious about this is I'm just going to read it and I'm going to respond, but people, all right, I'm just going to read it. Your streams with Kat are meant to be a co-op experience where you two are having fun together. Having Kat play the game while you watch chat is not fun. Not for you two, and certainly not for anyone watching.
And I really thought that that went without saying. I thought it was very clear to everybody involved, including DSP and Kat, that the way that they were doing these co-op streams was not ideal. There definitely wasn't enough discussion between the both of them. They were not interacting with each other nearly enough to be entertaining, and Kat straight up was not interacting with the chat as much as possible. She was very clearly bored when she was playing the game and was not having fun, probably due to the fact that she already 100%ed that game mode before she ever stepped a foot on DSP's stream. So we're off to a strong start when it comes to critiquing DSP's co-op gameplay. But like I said, I thought it just went without saying. Anybody who actually cares about the quality of the content that they make or the entertainment value that it holds would have been able to tell, but it is DSP that we're talking about. So maybe saying the quiet part out loud is necessary.
We want you two to laugh and talk and enjoy being together rather than Kat grinding through a game mode she's already beaten and you're screening what questions are asked. You should both be active in playing and talking. Kat should not be turned away from the mic. You should not be fielding the questions, especially for her. The interest in these streams is Kat and what she brings that is different from a normal stream. If she's going to play the game and focus on progress, there's no use in her being there. If she's going to say nothing or be in a bad mood, there's no use in her being there. I understand you want her to be actively interested in playing the game, but she shouldn't be so interested in it. She's not participating in the social part of the stream. My suggestion is to change your mindset about what a co-op stream with her should look like. Instead of looking for a game that you're both super interested in, look for something that is light and fun to play that will spur conversation between you two and should not require a lot of concentration. Ideally, you should find something that is two-player, but something that you can switch back and forth playing, but also acceptable if you can keep the conversation going while playing, because there's something like Animal Crossing or Harvest Moon that would be great. The game shouldn't be forced to carry the weight of entertaining the stream. That is what you and Kat are there to do. Okay.
And you could tell as the suggestion went longer and longer, he was becoming more and more frustrated. It began to hit a little closer to home the further we got in. And that's why he began to speed read it, because he didn't really want to address what the person was saying. He didn't want to acknowledge all of the facts that they were laying out. Because at some point in the middle there, he got offended. And once he was offended, it didn't matter what you were saying. It was a waste of his time. But everything that that person said is absolutely correct. When Kat is on stream, she is supposed to be the focal point because it is a special style event that she's there. It is out of the norm. The game should be lighthearted enough that they can continue a conversation and not be interrupted constantly. It also shouldn't be so demanding on her attention that she can't interact with the stream chat, that she can't talk to DSP and hold a conversation. She should be looking into the camera and at the chat and discussing with them. She should be leaning into the microphone to speak so that people can actually hear her. All of that is true, and all of that can be improved upon. All DSP has to do is listen to this suggestion. But like I said, at some point DSP got offended, so it doesn't matter how much it would benefit his stream. You've offended him. Everything that you have to say doesn't matter anymore.
Let's unpack this as quickly as we can because it's an insane amount of text. And if I really unpack it detail by detail, we'll never finish the show. Okay? When Kat and I do co-op, which we've done once now, literally.
I thought we did 2 Dent Doko streams, didn't we? Am I misremembering? Because I thought it was 2.
All right? The idea was that we're going to do something that she's interested in doing and playing so that it'll be fun for her to be here while also interacting with the stream audience. Okay? That was the idea. All right? Kat is my wife. She's not a paid employee. She's not a formal co-op partner. As much as you guys probably watch other streamers who they have regular co-op partners and paid employees and people who do this together, she's not a YouTube professional. Okay? She's not. She does not want to sit here reading chat, answering your questions. I want to explain that to you right now because I think some people have this weird misconception. She's not even into doing that. Like when she's trying to read it, and she can't even pay attention. Like it scrolls fast, and she can't even like keep up with it. All right.
I'm gonna have to stop you there because there is so much wrong with what you just said. You are actually already lying. First off, it does not matter whether or not she is a YouTube professional. If she's on the stream, she should be trying to engage with the chat and engage with the content. If that's not the point of her being on the stream, then she should not be on the stream because it doesn't make for good content. And if you're not making good content or trying to make good content, you have no business making content. Because if that's the case, then she should just be playing these video games with you offline, off stream where you aren't making any money off of it. Because that's what normal people do, DSP. If they're not going to be entertaining and they still want to play a game and they know that their audience isn't going to enjoy it, they just do it offline in their spare time. Second thing, I find it very strange that she's not interested in engaging with your chat, yet when she was Chaos Realm 01 and she did her own live streams, she was very much interested in talking to the chat. She always was excited when someone was in her chat talking to her. Maybe that was just because she streamed to 0 people most of the time, so when there was somebody actually there, it was different and it was exciting. But I wonder where that change came from, DSP. Is it because your dents are a completely different breed? Is it that you've completely hypnotized her and she's convinced that everybody on the internet is now a troll and doesn't want to engage with them at all? I just have to wonder where that change of heart came from, because it is a very big change of heart. And then the last part, DSP, do you realize that it sounds like you're calling her stupid, that you might even be insinuating that she's kind of illiterate? Because given how quickly your chat actually moves, you would pretty much have to be illiterate to not be able to follow it, when the person who's typing the most in your chat is Nightbot. I don't know if he's just unaware of how condescending he sounds, if he really thinks that he works the hardest job on the planet, or he just doesn't give a shit whether or not he's insulting her, but it's not a good look all the way around. No matter how you look at it, DSP sounds like a total asshole here.
She's not like me. She hasn't been here in front of a laptop every single day for the last 10 years streaming, and she's not used to doing it. That's something that if she eventually was here doing co-op with me for a while and we're used to it and we get into the swing of things, and she's always looking at the chat and always getting used to it, then she could do that.
You don't have to be a full-time streamer to be able to read the chat and interact with it, DSP. I don't know where you're getting this idea from. Any absolute buffoon can launch OBS and start a stream, and if they get somebody in the chat, they can talk to them. The only thing you need to be able to do is read and speak. I'm pretty sure that Kat can do both of those things, unless you have something to tell us about her literacy.
She literally said to me, this is how it should work. You know, you sit there so you can see the laptop and you can field the questions, and I'll play the game, and then if I get bored, we'll tag out or whatever. But that was the whole point. Like, we planned it ahead of time like that, to work like that, because she's not comfortable being here running a stream. She's not a streamer. She's my wife. And this is where people have this weird misconception when we did the co-op. Well, you see, she wasn't having fun, and she wasn't directly talking to us or answering questions, and she was never going to do that. She's not a streamer.
It's very strange to me that DSP would allow Kat, his wife, to come into his stream and his business, you know, the thing that pays all of his bills, and tell him how it's going to work when she's on stream. He should be the one taking charge. He should be the one telling her, hey, this is how the stream's going to work. This is the content that we're going to do together. If you're not comfortable with that, that's totally fine, but we're going to wind up not making the content then. But that would take some sort of care and effort being put into his business, which we all know that he is incapable of doing. The most effort that he's willing to put in is begging. And I also want to say I totally understand some of the things that he's saying here. She is not a full-time streamer, so maybe speaking into a microphone or looking into the camera or checking the chat every so often isn't in her muscle memory. Maybe she's not as good at multitasking as DSP because she doesn't multitask all that often, being that she is, you know, now unemployed. But that has to be something that you discuss in between the 2 co-op streams that we did do, because we did do 2 Dent Doko streams. I know we did. In between those streams, he should have said, hey, Hungy, Cat, you need to look into the microphone, honey. You need to be looking into the camera more often so that the people can see you. It makes for better content. That's how we get this DoorDash. Those were the conversations that he needed to have, because it's imperative to the content that, again, pays their goddamn bills.
Do you not get that? I mean, people, I guess not. It's like anyone who's on a stream immediately must be like a full-time streamer and knows exactly how to run the stream and do everything. No, that's not the case. I mean, even to some extent, when I used to do co-op with John Rambo, right? He wasn't really into doing the stream stuff either. It was just us kind of playing the game together. And then every once in a while, you would glance over at the chat or whatever, right? But even then, it was more like us focused on playing the game together. That was the focus, not the stream aspect of the interaction, right? But people have this weird misconception that like anyone who streams is a full-time professional and should absolutely be running it in this crazy way. No. It's time for a reality smack, okay?
Oh, it's time for a reality smack, you guys. DSP is about to tell you what for. He's basically just gonna go on a loop about how everybody's expecting too much out of his poor wife, Kat, and how it's totally not her fault that she didn't do the things that would make for a better stream. And I know I cut out the first half of this suggestion box, so it's not really in context, I guess. But this is a suggestion from the suggestion box. This person genuinely gave this to DSP to try and improve his content. He told DSP DSP all of the problems that he took with the quality of his co-op streams and how to improve them and why to improve them. Yet here we find ourselves acknowledging that these are quality issues on the stream, but they're in fact just your problem. Deal with it because she's not a professional, I guess. Sound good? Sounds good to me. And by the way, Kat agrees, because it is kind of her fault.
Not everyone is a ginormous fucking streamer who does this all day, every day, and knows exactly what they're doing to the point where they can run it ultra professionally to your level of satisfaction. The fact that Kat even stepped foot on stream after 5 years being away from it is nice, right? So why do we have to go from 0 to 100? Why can't there be a short, adaptive process of getting her comfortable to be on streams? And then when she's comfortable, then we can have these levels of improvement. Don't you understand that when you say shit like this, you make it that she doesn't want to be on stream? I'm serious.
But it's suggestions like this that could make her more comfortable, DSP. If she could see these suggestions and see how she could improve and actively make that step forward, she might be more comfortable on the stream. She might want to come back more, knowing that she's doing the things that people want to see. But given how you've reacted to this suggestion, if it's ever even presented to her, she's going to see it through the lens of you. She's going to see how you're reacting to it, how you're delivering it to her. And instead of taking the criticism and actually acknowledging that she needs to improve by doing these things, she's just going to be as upset and offended as you are. Because whether you like it or not, your spouse, your significant other can skew how you view things. And unfortunately for her, I think that he does that a lot. His hatred seeps into all of the things she likes to the point where she doesn't even like them anymore. Remember when she liked anime and K-pop? Yeah, I guess neither does she.
Because the whole idea was, oh, she'll just be here, it'll be casual, it's not ultra serious, she knows more about the game, so she can play the game, and I'll do commentary, and we'll add our, our ideas of what we want to do with the island together. I'll run the stream so we can talk to the audience and stuff like that. It's casual. It's not supposed to be ultra serious. But immediately you start holding those co-op streams to such a high standard. I don't understand why it's not super perfect, like this and this and this. Why is she not looking at the stream? Why is she not talking? Why is the audio not perfect? Why is that? Well, now no one wants to do it. You understand? When you immediately become so demanding of something that's just an experiment, something nice to throw out there and try, no one cares about it anymore.
So if any stream is out of the ordinary for DSP, whether that be one of his begathons, one of his holiday style events, his co-op streams, his super special Q&A style events, if there's any abnormality in the schedule, I guess you're just not allowed to critique it, because the second you do, DSP just doesn't care about doing the thing anymore, as in like the stream. Make that make sense. To me, that just sounds like a way to make your future streams and events better. But to DSP, it immediately makes him not care about it. And I imagine it's because he thinks that they're doing this out of the kindness of their heart, that the co-op stream is something that they just did because they wanted to do and there was no monetary reason to do it. When the reality is they were getting paid. That was the entire point of the event. It's an event, therefore it's going to garner more support because it is something special. So don't sit here and act like you were doing it out of the kindness of your heart when you were expecting to get more support from it.
So the second time that we did Dondoko Island, and the game definitely was getting boring, and we knew that, right? We're like, okay, so what other ideas can we do, or what else can we do? And immediately when you see just gross negative feedback, then why the fuck would we want to do co-op again? No, really, I mean it. What do you think? Like, saying something like this, you just gave us 1, 2, 3, 4+ paragraphs. And every paragraph basically says, your co-op's up, your co-op's up, your co-op's up, your co-op's up. Here's why. What would you think would inspire us to do it again?
But at no point when you were reading that did you ever actually say that they said your co-op sucked. They said that it looked like you guys weren't having fun, that you weren't engaging with the chat, and therefore it wasn't fun on their end either. But at no point did they actually say that the co-op sucked. At no point did they outright insult you. In fact, they gave you plenty of ways that you could improve the stream and make a better product, make a better piece of content that maybe somebody would actually want to pay for. But of course, all you heard is that your content sucks, because you know what the reality is. No amount of sugarcoating during the suggestion can hide the truth that you already know.
How about everyone take a step back, take a deep breath, all right? And realize something. Everyone's just a human, a normal person, all right? Not everyone is some kind of a fake persona that they can put out there to always be ultra happy, to always be enjoying every moment of everything. The problem is you're used to that because you're so used to being spoon-fed fake shit from streamers and content creators. You don't understand that that's not reality, okay? When you watch us do co-op, you saw the first co-op stream went really well. We were making great progress in the game. We were having fun doing it. The second co-op stream, it got super boring, and that was relayed in the content, and we decided not to continue it because we're real. We're not fake.
I love when DSP tells us that the reason we expect to be entertained and we expect to see good YouTube videos and streams is because other content creators create those things and he doesn't. It's one of my favorite things that he does. Also, I gotta press X to doubt on the idea that DSP isn't fake. That is coming from a compulsive liar. A man who has consistently lied his entire time being on the internet to make himself sound cooler than he actually is and trying to fit into spaces that he definitely doesn't belong in. Like the FGC.
We're not sitting here, everything's happy, everyone, like we're on fucking snorting pixie sticks and rainbows and fucking high on Percocets and shit. We're not like that, right? We're normal people.
Very, very specifically odd call out to Percocets. It's made me suspicious. That's all I wanted to say. Just a very specific Percocet call out.
And you immediately, a second attempt that we try to do co-op and things don't go as well because the game kind of got boring. Immediately, here's a laundry list of things that went wrong. And how do you not understand how? Because we're not doing it as a fucking professional deal, right? This is not a paid employee who knows professionally what they're doing coming in to receive a paycheck. This is just us sitting down to do something fun together and to try to get her reintegrated into streams. All right? It's time to stop with this madness of everything must be held to this insane high standard. All right?
Quit holding me to standards, guys. I'm not here to entertain you like all of those other content creators do. If you want to be entertained, go over there. Me, I'm boring as sin, and that's just the way it's gonna be. Sound good? Sounds good to me. That was the pig to English translation for anybody who needed it.
It was nice she came by. If we find another game that we find that we want to do together that seems like it's going to be a fun co-op experience, we'll do that. And if not, we won't. People keep saying, why not play It Takes Two? Why not play? Because we're not interested. We're not fake. We're not going to do the co-op stream and pretend to like the game just to make a paycheck. That's not what we're all about. We're not going to sit here and fucking waste everyone's time being, characters on a stream. That's not the point. And the fact that you don't get that is kind of disheartening. That people after 16 years of me making content, you still can't tell that this is really different from other content creators who are always over the top, positive about everything, sugarcoating, fucking stars and fucking rainbows and unicorns about everything. Everything's great. And that's how they get all their sponsorships. And that's how they make all their money. But we're not like that. We never have been. We're never going to be. You're going to get the real us when we do anything together. Okay? And so if we're going to play a game, we want to find a game that we know is going to be something that we're both going to enjoy. And it's hopefully going to translate into something entertaining for you to watch as well. But it's not going to be, basically turning it into something so ultra professional and so overproduced and so ridiculous that it's fake.
It doesn't have to be fake to be quality, DSP. In fact, those are kind of the opposite if you ask me. It's also very telling what your relationship is like behind the scenes when you two engage with each other. There's no communication there. There's no actual banter back and forth. You have nothing to talk about. It seems like you don't share any interest or even sense of humor at all. You probably could have took any two random people off the street, made them play a game on stream, and they would have more chemistry than you and Kat did on Dent Doko Island. And I haven't mentioned it yet, but we're multiple minutes into this DSP video, and just about every other comment that's in the chat is somebody telling him that he misread the suggestion, completely missed the point, and is building a straw man. So if anybody is a visual style that wasn't looking at the screen, feel free, because you can just look whenever you want and there's going to be somebody there saying pretty much exactly that. Because it's clear as day to everybody in the chat that DSP is just offended at something that wasn't even said.
Literally what you just said is you want us to always be playing games where we're both doing co-op gameplay together, right? But also you want Kat to be ultra professional, be looking at the chat herself and reading questions and answering every question herself, even though she hasn't literally done a day of streaming in how many years and doesn't do that professionally and doesn't even know how to do it. She has problems even like catching up with the chat and stuff. That's why she has me do it, because I'm here every day doing it. It's like, where are you coming from with this? Right? What? His wife's going to be on stream. Well, that better be the most highly produced professional stream I've ever seen. What the fuck are you talking about? No. How about no? How about if we do another co-op stream, it'll be fun because we're going to be real people just messing around, having a good time, talking with chat. Actually, we're coming up to a point where she hasn't been on stream now in about a month. So maybe she would want to appear on a stream, and maybe it would just be like a Q&A stream because now we haven't done it in a while. So maybe now it'd be more fun to just do like a hangout session with Q&A rather than anything else, right? And I'll see if she's interested in that.
I just gotta say, thank God we didn't do another boring-ass Cat Q&A stream. She has nothing to talk about, and neither does DSP. A Q&A segment for either of those two is completely worthless. They don't do anything. They don't have any interesting stories. They don't have any insight to, anything. They just kind of loaf about all day and pretend that they're important to somebody. And I guess that somebody is Jasper Kitty, because they very clearly don't care too much for each other.
But if we fucking do the stream and all people do is complain about she's not looking at the camera enough and this, that, then fuck it. We're not gonna do it. It's stupid. You are being stupid when you're over asking for things that don't make fucking sense. Just be real and be understanding that it's nice to have someone new and refreshing on the stream Stop being ultra demanding the moment they put a toe on camera because you think that everything should be overproduced and over happy. That's not life. That's the fakers out there who are sugarcoating their shit and shoveling advertisements down your throat. You're so used to it. You just think that's life. It's not fucking life. It's not real. It literally doesn't exist. You're looking at cartoon characters on a stream and you're demanding everyone else acts just like them. It doesn't happen in real life, okay? It's bullshit. I can't believe you like the bullshit, honestly. Really.
But they're not asking for a different persona, DSP. They're not asking you to be cartoon characters. All they asked is that she speak into the microphone and check the chat herself every once in a while. That's all they ask. And I find it very concerning that you don't care how she's perceived online in your content. I'm not saying that you have to be ultra worried about it, but you should care that people enjoy her. You should go out of your way to make sure that she's presented in the best light possible, and she should be trying to do the same for you in your content. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but you should be giving her tips as to how she can be more presentable on stream. And I'm not talking about just visually, but giving these people an actual quality product. And she should have enough respect for you and your audience, again, the people that pay the bills, to stick out the stream and not get so bored that she literally folds over in the chair and gives up. What the hell was that? Regardless of how bored she was or how much she didn't want to be there anymore, that's a completely unacceptable behavior. She was the main event of the stream and she couldn't even tough it out long enough to finish the stream.
I think that it's absolutely ridiculous that you think that that's something that someone should aspire to have on the stream. It's terrible, you know? So yeah, here's the thing. I definitely feel like, we need to do stuff that's going to be fun together. We thought Dondoko Island was going to be fun together. It wasn't. It was fun at the very beginning, right? And then immediately got boring. But the truth is, that's the game mode, right? Like, I'm not even going to go back to do it. It's so boring, I'm not even going to do it in the game. I'm skipping it. There's no point in doing the game mode when it really was superfluous, right? What's hilarious is that people saying stuff in the chat. You didn't listen to a word that I said. So here we go. All right, goodbye. Literally, they just sit here and shit on me. I didn't have the chat open. I was just talking based on what was said, right? And now you got fucking idiots coming in here being toxic and shit. And I'm not paying any attention to it. And I immediately look at the chat, and here comes the toxicity, right? Oh, we know that he doesn't have the chat open when he's doing this, so let's go ahead and just fucking hit him with a bunch of toxicity. By the way, it's all fucking sock accounts, too. Excuse me. Look at this. This is literally like 15 sock accounts. It's probably all the same person. More than likely, it's all the same person. Here you go. Here's another one.
Why does he think that people know that he doesn't have his chat open? He always has his chat open. I think it would be weird if you thought that he didn't have his chat open for a segment like this. And when I say a segment like this, I don't only mean the suggestion box. I mean a segment where he's being as toxic as he possibly can just to be toxic. And of course, all of the accounts that are disagreeing with him in chat are one person. They're all socks. All 500 goddamn people that are disagreeing with him, yeah, one person secretly.
Here we go. Here's the other one. Okay, keep going. It's hilarious. They're all random names. No one who's recognizable who we even know from the chat because they're all new accounts. None of them even have profiles pictures, right? They're all the same fucking person. This is ridiculous. All right, I think I finally got rid of them. So anyway, here, allow me to give you my best feedback. Get a fucking life and stop sitting in my chat with 200 fucking stupid accounts there. We know it's all the same person. They're all the same account. Anyway.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed the really robust lean-in segment. I forgot that even happened during this clip.
Okay, in a nutshell, all right? Kat and I would like to do co-op in the future, and we'd also like to do other Q&A streams as well. But it's not going to be often. It's going to be special when it happens. That way it feels special. It's not, oh, we're doing it all the time. It's samey, and now it doesn't mean anything, okay? We were talking about maybe having her come on, you know, basically to hang out just to do Q&A. That's it. Just a Q&A stream again. Because we don't have any games right now that are co-op that we're interested in, right? You know, Helldivers maybe would have been something interesting, except it's not couch co-op, right? It's only online. There's no point. We can't do two people in the same room doing online on camera. It's not going to work. So that's not that kind of co-op we're looking for. Sadly, we did look into co-op games. Like we were looking for a bunch of co-op games online. We looked into that Overcooked. It just looks boring. It doesn't look like a game that's going to be fun to do. We're going to get bored with it within a few stages. Like we watched someone play it for like half an hour, and we were bored watching them play it. So imagine now us playing it and you watching it, right?
Imagine for a second how narrow-minded you have to be that you cannot find a single co-op game to play for a stream. I mean, he's pretty much got every single game under the sun at his fingertips, being that he has a mini PC and could emulate whatever he wants, whenever he wants. He can go on Steam, and he has both a PlayStation and Xbox. There seems to be limitless possibilities and countless games to pick, and they can't seem to find one? Again, it just shows you how narrow-minded one or both of these people are when it comes to video games.
So that's probably not going to work either. And again, we looked into other games, and we're just not too interested in any of the ones that seem to be the big suggestions, right? Maybe we will eventually get into one where, okay, you know, this is one that we're interested in. But right now we're not. And by the way, right now there's no time in the schedule for it because I'm already having to take streams off this month to do other things, you know. And we're in the middle of RPG Mania where I got to get through these effing RPGs to start new games. Okay, so it's going to be something that we look more into later in the year when there's ample opportunity for it, when the schedule opens up. You know, typically in the spring, summertime, that's when schedules open up a lot because there's very few game releases and there's time for this kind of stuff. And that's definitely what we'll look to do, okay? So thank you. And I understand, but what I got to say is you have to stop being so demanding about it because you take the fun out of it when you become demanding.
Again, for the record, nobody is demanding anything. They gave you suggestions to improve your stream, the thing that you asked them to do given that it is a suggestion box. And you would think since these suggestions would allow your wife, the person that you love and cherish so much according to you, to be perceived in a better light publicly on your streams, that you would go ahead and listen to them and maybe even take them into consideration.
Like the first Q&A stream that we did was super fun because it was the first time Kat had been on stream in so long. The second Q&A stream we did, their questions weren't as good. Be honest, they were drying up or being repetitive. And then immediately a ton of negative feedback. Oh, she looked uncomfortable. Oh, she looked bored. Oh, okay. Well, guess what? When immediately you start complaining, it's not fun to do anymore. Okay? The first stream of Dondoko Island, we were both engaged and having fun and we were getting a lot of progress and it wasn't boring yet. We were having a good time. Second stream, again, the game turned for the worse. It got boring and grindy and we were just having, you know, getting exhausted trying to do it. And immediately, here comes the negativity again. Oh my God, so bored. Why isn't she looking at chat? Why don't you shut the fuck up?
Because they're experiencing a bad product, DSP, but they have enough loyalty to you that instead of just leaving, they want to let you know they're experiencing a bad product and will have to leave if you don't improve the product. It's like if you go to a sandwich shop, right? And you've been going to the same sandwich shop for years. It's your favorite sandwich shop. But one day you try the new sandwich special and it's really not to your liking. It's just a little overdone and there's just something off about it. So you go back up to the counter and you tell the skeleton behind the counter, hey, Mr. Skeleton, there's something off about this sandwich and I think that the bread is a little too toasted. And the skeleton behind the counter tells you to shut the fuck up. I would imagine that you wouldn't be coming back to that sandwich shop. I would imagine that they would lose your patronage. But of course that would take some sort of spine and self-respect and DSP's dents don't have that.
Really? None of that helps. All that does is makes people uncomfortable. All right? If you want to be understanding that if she's going to be on a stream, she's not a full-time streamer, there's going to be some uncomfortable moments. There's going to be some boring parts, right? If you could just shut your mouth for 5 seconds and try to enjoy just the fact that someone else wants to be in the content, then maybe they'd be more inclined to be back. But the moment you start complaining about everything because you think that you're so entitled to such the perfect level of content at all moments is when things go south. Do you understand that? Really? I just don't... it does drive me nuts. It does. Because, you know, I see both sides of it. I see the public side of what you guys are saying, and I'm behind the scenes here with Kat, and I see how she reacts to this stuff, and it's just like, why can't people just be, like, happy that there's content in general? Oh, I'm happy to see that Phil's wife wants to be on stream with him and hang out with him and have a good time with him and be a part of that. As opposed to, oh, Phil's wife's on stream. It's time to now micro-analyze every second of the stream and tell them everything they're doing wrong from beginning to end. What?
And I think that that's one of the fundamental problems with DSP and his business, DSP Space Gaming. He thinks that just because he's putting out content, these streams and videos for free, that people should just shut up and be grateful, that no matter what's wrong with it and how big of an asshole he is, the simple fact that it's potentially free if you're not a major dent and give him money is enough to just wipe all of that away. All of his sins are forgiven because technically the product is free. That's just not how any of this shit works. It doesn't matter if you're paying, they're paying, or nobody's paying. If a product is bad, people are going to talk about it and they're going to give you feedback on why it's terrible. And he's completely lying when he says that he sees both sides, that he understands what chat is saying, but he also understands Cat's feelings behind the scenes. He doesn't give a shit what his chat has to say. He's made that very clear through every single suggestion box. If you're not OP Boone, your suggestion is basically a waste of his time.
How did we get that jump? You know, I just don't understand. You know, she's coming back to streams for the first time in 5 years. Man, she better be absolutely prepared to be an ultra professional on that stream every second. What the fuck is wrong with you? That is how you turn people off from wanting to do stuff. You understand? But I guess not, because that seems to be the general attitude on YouTube. In general, just on YouTube in general. For example, when I started on YouTube back in the day, all right, and I would upload my crappy camera content that looked and sounded awful, but people found it funny. No exaggeration. When you watch the content back and you look at the comments, it would be like, wow, this is excellent. Some free content. Someone's playing the game and I get to see if it's any good. Wow, the commentary is pretty funny. The gameplay is not great, but that's not what we're here for. We're happy just to have free content and to enjoy. Now what's happened is YouTube's been around for 15 years and it's oversaturated with content. So now it's like the moment someone uploads content, it must be of the absolute utmost, utterly polished, best at all moments content, because if not, it's trash. No.
Yes, stupid. You're not the only supplier in town anymore, DSP, and because of that, you have to be held to some sort of standards or you're not going to get any attention. Nobody's gonna just come by and appreciate the fact that you exist because everybody exists at this point. There's so many people on YouTube. If you're not good at video games or entertaining in some sort of way, you're not gonna get any attention and you probably don't deserve it. I don't know how you have failed to see that over the past decade, but again, that's one of your fundamental problems. Simply existing on YouTube is not going to do it. Everybody exists on YouTube at this point, DSP. You have to do something different. You have to be some sort of special. And I don't mean the needs kind of special either.
That's not reality. That's not life. That's not how it works. Okay? Really. It's not. Why do people expect all of this? This is wild. You drive me nuts with this shit. You do. And the fun part is I know for a fact that that's not everybody, right? There were some people who were just so happy to see Cat come on a stream after 5 years away. Say, well, this is nice just to have someone else on the stream with Phil, and it's someone who he loves, his significant other. You know, they were just happy, and I'm grateful for that. We are grateful for that. For those who just wanted to see her and see how she was doing, and just, you know, just to listen to her talk and just hang out and do something a little different. You know what I mean? That's nice, and I'm grateful for those people. But for those who just want to be ultra demanding about every fucking part of everything that we do, that's ridiculous. And you know, it's never going to be like that. Just to be straight with you, no, we're probably never going to get to a level where she's going to come on stream and it's going to be like ultimate production value. She's super comfortable looking at the chat. How? She'd have to be here every day just like me to get to this level.
Well, DSP, you're still on level 1, so it really shouldn't take that long at all. Also gotta love the fact that he acknowledges that there were people who did just enjoy the streams, who didn't nitpick, didn't have any sort of criticisms, and were happy that she was there. But yet these detractor styles are the ones that are getting their own segments. These people who were complaining, these people who weren't satisfied with the content, these are the people that get addressed. These are the people that DSP wants to talk about and give his attention to. That doesn't seem very DS positive to me.
Not everyone can even just look at the camera and talk naturally. You know what I mean? So it's time to wake up. Either you have her in content or you don't, but the moment that you get over demanding is the moment that she doesn't want to do it because it's too much of a hassle. It's too frustrating. If so many people are upset at it, then why do it, right? Just chill the fuck out. I mean, that's really the best advice right now. Just chill the fuck out. Stop being so high-strung and uptight and demanding of everything in life. Just chill the fuck out. And everything will be better. I promise you. As I've gotten older now, and I've learned to lean back and more relaxed and say, you know what? You can't control everything. Not everything's perfect. Just chill out a bit. Life is better in that way, man. But when you're just uptight about everything, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. For a second, just sit back and relax and stop being so demanding and so ridiculous. Damn.
Yeah, you guys just need to relax, lower your standards, accept trash quality entertainment and products, and you'll be much happier, I promise. Eat the bugs, you'll own nothing and be happy, and you'll watch DSP all day long. Doesn't that sound like a much better life? I know that I'd be happier. And that's gonna be the end of that clip, but luckily for us, DSP did in fact find a game for him and Cat to play on the next co-op stream. So we're gonna take a very quick look at that announcement. He does rehash a lot of everything that we just watched, so I'm gonna cut out all of that. We don't need a refresher, we just did the whole thing.
My wife and I talked about co-op. We've been talking about it for weeks because we want to do stuff on stream together. And I told you, if we couldn't figure anything out to play, she was probably going to come on stream and do a Q&A session with you guys because it's been a while now. You know, it's been a month, if you didn't know, since we did the Dunko Island co-op. And it didn't go anywhere. We stopped doing it, and since then we didn't really think of anything else, right? So we were talking about the various different things that we could do and the ideas that we had, and we looked up a bunch of games, a ton of games to try to look, and we're like, what are we gonna do, right? So finally we came to a conclusion. Some of you are gonna like it, others of you are gonna hate it.
So I'm going to stop him right there because he's going to go and say that anybody who has all of these prerequisites to meet for the co-op stream should just not watch them and they should just enjoy the content. We already heard that. Skipping.
Someone left some comments on videos recently, and they said, all the things that you've been describing that you do together on your day off would be great for content. For example, imagine if the first time Kat played Tekken and you were teaching her basics and we got to see her play the arcade mode that you described. That would have been awesome. Imagine her trying this power washing simulator and going through it and having, doing the story of it. That would have been awesome. And this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, does this person not understand that, like, it's okay to have a life outside of a stream? Like, I don't have to have my stream on every moment that I'm out of this room and we're having interaction. Like, when I take a shit, I don't need to have the stream on as the turds hit the water. And as we're cooking, we don't have to see as we're frying and sauteing the pan. You don't need to see it singe and sear. You don't need to see the smoke coming out of the food that I'm going to eat. I can just tell you that we made it and ate it. It doesn't, not everything has to be broadcast live to an audience. There has to be like a separation of personal and public. And that's a great thing when you have that.
But I actually had that exact same thought when he was talking about how he was showing her how to play Tekken and it was her first time playing a fighting game like that. I was like, wow, what a great thing he could have done on stream. What a great experience he could have shared with not only his wife, but also his audience that they would have found entertaining. And also that would have been a great way for him to introduce Tekken 8 to his audience because he said that he wasn't going to play the demo, but yet Kat did. I think that would have been a robust piece of content. Still not good because it is DSP, but it would have been far more interesting than anything else he's done. But of course, being entertaining and being interesting on stream is not DSP's forte. He saves that for off stream for some reason. All of the meaningful experiences that he shares with Kat have to be exclusively offline, or I guess they're not meaningful anymore. Also, big ups the scat humor. Of course we had to. It's a DSP segment.
Okay? I don't want to 100% have our private lives be broadcast to the world. Some people don't understand it. Like, well, I don't understand, but that's monetizable and people want to see it. So you should just do it. No, no, we shouldn't. We should have our own lives. That's the idea, is that I'm much happier now. I used to do that. I used to film and vlog everything in my home, and every trip that I went on and everything that I did was broadcast live to the internet. And a lot of people liked it. And it basically destroyed my life. It made it so that people became internet stalkers, that people became obsessed with me and my private life and how fucked up it was that they're all over every little piece of my house.
Nobody was asking you to do all of that, DSP. One stream inside your office with Kat during the Tekken 8 demo would have been sufficient. Sharing that experience with not only your wife, but your chat would have been very cool. Again, it's still DSP at the end of the day, so it wouldn't have been that cool, but it would have been interesting. It would have been something.
It's obsessive. It's fucking disturbing. If you guys heard the stories of shit that's happened to me and my family over the years, you would be shocked and shit your pants. But I don't tell those stories because you don't give attention to that kind of fucked up stuff. You understand? No, I don't need to fucking show you every aspect of my life, okay? But in line with what people are saying like that, thinking about what would have been a game that my wife would have played and I would have liked to be there, either to participate in myself or to just sit there and do, like, commentate on it. And what would have been something that we would have really liked to enjoy to do together that maybe we could just do on stream instead. And there's actually a game that we were talking about watching someone play or having her play, but we haven't found a means to have her play it because of our whole gaming situation, okay? All right, so that being said, here we go, because some people are going to like this and some people are going to hate this. All right, so here we go. The game that we have decided on. People are just saying the most random shit in chat. It's hilarious. The game that we've decided on is a game that Kat has wanted to, again, play or watch for a while, and we didn't have the means, but then we were like, Eureka, why not? And I will give this, if you can believe it, I give credit to Slayer, who is not here today. I wish he was here, but he's never here during the day streams.
I don't care for the intro. I don't need a build up, and I definitely don't need to shout out Slayer. I don't give a shit, DSP. Just tell us what the game is. I'm skipping ahead.
It's a game called Beyond Two Souls. It is one of the older Quantic Dream games. It's actually the major one that came out before Detroit Become Human. And if you can believe it, it is co-op, but not really. Allow me to explain what I mean by that, okay? It is co-op, but people were actually disappointed at the time because they thought it was fully co-op, and it's not, okay? So how it works is you're the main character, and that person, whoever player one is, plays as the main character with their control pad. But then there's another character that's a supernatural entity in the game, and if there's a second player, they can control the supernatural entity at certain points in the game. But there's never a point where you control them both at the same time. It kind of just swaps between the two. So you're basically just kind of a helper or an assist to the main character, all right?
So we pretty much just picked another single player game to play co-op on stream with Cat. Oh, but Atlas, it is a co-op game. 2 people can play it. They have 2 controllers, stupid. And I hear what you're saying, but let me debunk you real quick using DSP's own words.
Now, will we actually play it co-op? That's a good question, because it's actually funny. I read a few online reviews about how the co-op works in this game, and they're like, literally, you don't have to play it co-op. What you can do is just have the one controller, and so the one person plays the main character, and when it's time for the other character, you can just hand the controller over. And then that person just makes all the decisions for the other character. You don't need 2 controllers. Like, it's literally exactly the same. There's no difference. So maybe we'll just use one controller instead of having to have 2 and have one. We just sit around not playing 90% of the time. Just pass the controller back and forth or whatever, right? I don't know.
Well, even if you only have one controller DSP, someone's still not going to be playing 90% of the time. So it's not a co-op game. Ack. I can't believe this guy picked 2 single-player games to play on a co-op stream. That's amazing. It's like he's not even trying anymore. But speaking of interacting with other people, I want to read some of my comments from the last video. KyleTech84 says, Star Wars Battlefront becomes the newest detractor today when it fails to save the business for the 18,000th time. I'm sure most of us are aware of the Battlefront streams by now, but in case you aren't, yes, it didn't save the business. The game was a buggy mess and almost unplayable, and DSP was terrible at it and had no fun. I knew him hyping it up was a bad idea, and I love to be proven right. Willis Moore, 156, says, what? There's so much contradiction. He's talking in circles and disproving every prior sentence. This is bipolar. Now, I don't know about bipolar because I'm not a psychiatrist style, but what I do know is everything you said prior to that is 100% correct. DSP contradicted every single statement that he made about Tekken 8 almost immediately after saying it. It's almost like he never had an argument in the first place other than just being bad. And Akai Crimson, dur, what a condescending tone for the people that DSP loses to. At least he's consistent in always belittling others. Of course, it's the only thing that he is consistent in. And that's only because obviously everybody who beats DSP is a mouth-drooling moron, dude. Of course, special big ups to all of my members. I love all of you so much. Thank you. Shout out to everybody who watched the video, especially if you made it this far. And hopefully I'll catch all of you guys in the next video, but until then, make sure that you check out other detractor content and dive deeper into that. Snortags.